You don't think that the Nigerian army should, or should I say the government should act when there seems to be a level of agitation along the lines of secession and a country within a country? You think the Nigerian government shouldn't have acted?
No, it will act in the way that law prescribes, which is that already you are already acting. The man has been arraigned. There's already a trial going on in respect of the alleged attempt to overtake the government, overrun the government of Nigeria. So there's a trial. There's a procedure set up by law which government has activated. My concern is, do you go beyond that procedure? And a trial is coming in October. Whether we like it or not, Nnamdi Kanu must appear in court in October
but
by an order of a court.
But if he commits a fresh, or if he's deemed to have committed a fresh offense, irrespective of the trial going on or not, he can still be arrested.
Through the same process with which you arrested me in the first place. It was the police that arrested him. After the arrest, then he was arraigned before the court. The soldiers were not deployed at that time. So there's no reason for this deployment. That's what I'm saying. We're the one provoking the crisis. And the solution to this is for the federal government to ask the python to go back to the forest. We don't see python in the day. We don't see python in the midst of human beings. The pythons should go back to where they belong to. Otherwise, look, if it gets to the fact that every agitation in the country, the military will come out. I mean, what we are saying is preparing for 2019 election, because this has political undertone, if you must agree.
How do you mean?
The people of the Niger Delta did a struggle. Whether it was violent, the result was that there was amnesty. The result of that was that there was also resource control. Section 162 of the Constitution gives them 13%. The people of the Southwest did an agitation. The result of that was that Chief Obasanjo was elected as president of Nigeria. The people of the North are doing something in terms of taking over power by military rule. The result is that they have ruled severally, and military rule is illegal. It's against the Constitution for you to take over power through the gun. But that has happened severally, and it has benefited the North mostly. Agitation benefited the Southwest. They got president. Agitation benefits the Niger Delta. They got resource control. You can't stop the Southeast from agitating if all they want is to say, we want presence, we want recognition. It has political undertone. And as I sit here, I do not think that the president will deploy soldiers to the Southwest because of 2019 elections, because he knows he's banking for votes. So people are saying, from what I've read in the comments, the reason why there's soldier in the Southeast is because the APC government didn't receive votes in 2015, and they don't expect votes from there. So they don't care what happens in that place.
Even though
it has political undertones.
Even though they say that will be speculative, because
well, I'm just saying it. I've told you I don't agree with the methodology of Kanu.
But you know,
but we have done worse. There's Radio Kudirat. Don't you remember when we were agitating for June 12th election? We set up Radio Kudirat. It was run by a prominent individual in this country. He's still alive. It was meant for agitation, to draw international attention to the problem of the annulment of the election. That's what Radio Biafra is doing.
But look at this, because when I read that particular comment about how they've deployed in different parts of the country, and they say this has been planned, budgeted for since last year. Now, if the law is such that it says, look, you can't deploy military to those areas, how come the plan, it was budgeted for since last year, and now they're executing something that you say the law frowns against?
No, there's always budgeting for national security. The military will not come here and tell you that the National Assembly budgeted for deployment of troops to curb kidnapping. The normal budget for the military is put under national security, and that security covers Section 217. You don't wait until Cameroon comes to take over before you start to look for money. So there's money budgeted already in case there is an attempt to take over our borders, in case there is civil unrest that's leading to insurrection. So there's already budget for the national, for the security of this country. But it's the security that is turning it around to take over the roles of the police. And I think once the National Assembly resumes, the President of the Senate and the Speaker of the House of Representatives should urgently give a directive by way of a motion to ask the military to go back to the barracks and submit to civilian authority. We cannot continue to cope with a situation whereby we wake up with people with camouflage and guns every day. We cannot do that. And you know, Section 34 of our Constitution, which is very sacrosanct, says that everybody is entitled to right to human dignity and self-respect. You can't carry horsewhip, you can't carry stick and be beating civilians. Because until you can convince me that Kanu is bearing arms, if I see him carrying gun or is distributing arms to people, That's when you talk about taking over government. If it's just to be calling people zoo, be calling people animals, it goes to a matter of upbringing.
But if
it goes to a matter of speeches, which is still covered by law.
What if you say those speeches are capable of causing violence, disaffection in the country?
You arrest him and charge him to court. That is the solution, Chamberlain. It's not to deploy soldiers to shut his mouth. If he has uttered any speech which is capable of inciting insurrection, of course you will then go ahead and arrest him and you arraign him for another offense, different from the way for him is facing.
Even if he's fueling hate speech, for instance?
But let's not go into this problem of hate speech, honestly, because I don't see anything like that in our laws. Section 39 of the Constitution grants to every citizen the freedom of expression. However, that freedom is limited to ensure that whatever you say is within the law. So if you utter any expression, if you make any expression, you utter any speech that is capable of inciting hatred, you will be charged to court. But not that you put padlock and say, don't talk, it is hate speech. Okay. Charge me to court now and let's go and face it.
We'll look at this, what do we do moving forward when we return in just a moment. Don't go away. Welcome back, and yes, indeed, continuing with our focus on the developments between IPOB and the military. Let's go to Abuja. Markwa has got some questions for you, Ebun. Markwa.
Well, Mr. Adegboruwa, what do you say to those who say that this was how Boko Haram started in the northeast as well, and that it went out of hand, and now we have had to call the army in to quell certain matters? Do you think that this is a situation that could get out of hand?
Well, this is not, with all due respect, this is not how Boko Haram started. The Boko Haram escalated because the state eliminated Alhaji Mohammed Diko Yusuf. That's what angered. It was initially like an agitation. It was the assassination of their leader that provoked the crisis we have today. And so if you follow the historical narratives, picking out a single individual for elimination has not helped an agitation. As Adegboruwa was killed, Saruwa was killed, it didn't stop the Niger Delta militancy. So I still think that the state should go back and learn from history. Killing Nnamdi Kanu, maiming him, arresting him, jailing him will probably not stop what is going on in the southeast. Because if he has no support, he won't be there today. The truth, or as I can see for what is going on, is that his thoughts resonate seriously with people of the southeast. But beyond the people of the southeast, he also needs support. Because in the period of the June 12th election, you will see Air Commodore Dan Suleiman, you will see retired Admiral Ndubuisi Kanu, Pariwane from Niger Delta, all identifying with June 12th, Balarabe Musa. I don't think that these kind of speeches I hear from Nnamdi Kanu about his hatred for other tribes will help that cause seriously. And that's why I think the governors of the Southeast and the leaders of the Southeast must be able to rein in some kind of discussion that will engender some civility, and let there be a document that structures what indeed they want to do. So I don't think this is the same situation with what happened in Boko Haram.